Welcome to my channel.
My wife and twin brother have been having an affair for 3.5 years. Story 1-2. She cheated with her best friend and I watched it in silence, because I caught them. Keep your friends close but keep your enemies closer. A few weeks ago I asked my partner if she was seeing someone else. She denied it. No problem, I thought. I told my best mate about it and often confided in him about my issues. Last day of January we had a great day at the botanical gardens and the swimming pool with our boy. She took him to his auntie and I dropped in to see a mate and got back home 2 hours later. Suddenly she said I'm off. No reason, no explanation. It was about 11 p.m. At 48 she got her car license for the first time. I bought her a car in my name soon after and she's been going everywhere with her newfound freedom. Before that we did everything together. She's changed and menopause has set in. I jumped on my bike driving around the usual haunts. Nowhere to be found. Finally I thought I'll go past my best mate's place. He'd been a middleman for our differences. We all got on extremely well. I'm not a jealous guy but I know when something's not quite right. I drove past his house, couldn't see her car. I drive around a bit and sure enough her car was parked down a dead-end side street where she thought I wouldn't look. Couldn't believe it, but I wasn't surprised. I walked up to his tall side gate and it was locked. Just a bit unusual. I knew what was going on. I snuck around through the main gate to outside his downstairs bedroom. The light had just gone off upstairs in the kitchen. I could see through the curtains my mate standing in the nude staring at my girlfriend just out of view. My heart was pumping flat out. They got on the bed and then he opened the window and pulled back the curtains for a bit for fresh air. It's a wonder he didn't see me standing there. After a few minutes I thought, stuff it, why should I hide? I stuck my head in through the curtains as if to say hecko and thought they'd see me straight away. They didn't. I watched them in disbelief. They were a bit awkward. Not too much passion and obviously nervous. Now you put your leg there and what if I move here? It was a bit stilted. I kept still for about 5 minutes until my alleged best mate thought he heard a noise outside, looked over and saw me. "Oh Paul," he said. He rolled over and covered his face with his jobs. She got off the bed, grumpy and got dressed. I didn't say anything for a few minutes and just stared at him. I had no words. For 5 minutes I just stared at him like lasers gouging at his conscience. Somehow the girlfriend didn't seem to matter. It was his betrayal that really got me. We all sat in his kitchen for the next hour looking at each other very wide awake, not saying very much. My alleged girlfriend decided she'd had enough and went home. I stayed an hour then went home too. He told me to come stay for a week, which I did. The next morning she said she had to go to her cousin's 30 minutes drive away. Sure enough she was back around at his place sitting on the back steps in a skimpy dress. He was nude laying on a towel in the backyard. I busted in his backyard and suggested I'd be nude as well. That was enough for me and I left and came back later. My partner has always been a provocative woman, short dresses, long tan legs, 5'9" size 8 to 10. Most women disliked her frankness but it's never worried me, quite the opposite, and I'm not a jealous type. So my mate is a very capable shorter Italian divorced man, slowly renovating his big Federation house. He's incredibly healthy with a fantastic, muscly tan six-pack well-oiled physique, cholesterol of 2 and forever getting around bare-chested in just shorts that look like they're about to fall off. She's always flirted with him, which I never minded too much. He'd always made it clear he wasn't interested and got embarrassed, but it's obvious things went too far. I never saw it coming. I just assumed I could trust him. We were all the best of friends. Crazy I know, but these things happen. We're all having a break from each other. I've been through every emotion in the last week and things are slowly resolving. Apparently they'd had 3 escapades over the previous week which I had no idea about. She's a good liar and will probably be calling it a day. There's no point. Although I've tried to keep the mateship going, I doubt it will last, which is a real pity, but I don't think I can trust him again. What upset me the most is my mate invited us for pasta and we spent a pleasant day in the park in the midst of all of this, and I just wonder how long their little secret would have gone on before he would have told me, or her for that matter. Not only that, he talked about his ex having affairs and what a beach she was when he was doing the same to me. Very betrayed and disappointed. I've always been incredibly open with my phone, emails, etc., and don't hide anything. She routinely checks it and is sure I'm cheating, but I never am. Who's this girl? What does she want? It does mean keeping platonic friends more distant, which is common in most relationships. Just recently she's put a screen lock on her phone and is very sensitive about its whereabouts. As broad-minded as we both are, I'm amazed at the fallout. I wouldn't have minded so much if one of them had talked to me about it or confessed, but what really hurts is that I had to find out the hard way. His vengeful ex-girlfriend, who was still keen on him, told his kids about his recreational drug habits. Now he can't see his granddaughter. My probably ex-girlfriend has gone AWOL to her auntie, probably at his place sometimes, and he's getting phone calls from her 17-year-old daughter and other friends wondering where she is, and he's not a happy chappy losing his privacy. He insists that he's not interested in any type of relationship. He means FWB, which I find hard to believe, and I don't think she has a clue what to do. I've always been the fixer in our relationship. Trying to help her out of her problems. Helping her learn to drive, do online courses, writing letters, paying fines, just a whole bunch of stuff. I went to meetings for people who support others and have to live with their problems 24 hours a day. Sorry to say, but I've had enough. She can fix herself. I'm tired of paying for her petrol, lending her money for smokes that rarely gets repaid, picking up her clothes, ringing the doctor, arranging appointments. So within just over a week I've lost 2 close friends who weren't. After 9 years I thought I was with someone I could trust and we'd always be together, but my intuition knew better. Update: 2 weeks later, my ex is now staying at some friend's place. My mate and I have become closer and better friends than ever. We've talked a heck of a lot about our families, partners, and the error of our ways. She's still keen on him, but he's over it and not interested in any type of relationship with her. Bullshit. In the 90s I taught music in jail for 2 years. Most guys in the band were in for passion crimes, heat of the moment stuff, e.g. rape, murder of ex-partners and boyfriends. They would say that 5 minutes of madness and losing control put them in jail for 10 years. Twice in my life I've experienced those emotions of wanting to be cruel and vengeful. Thankfully I never acted on them. Instead I've taken myself off to counseling and sorted myself out. Just spending time with my mate as well has been remarkably soothing. I'm starting to have confidence in him, but the old adage is certainly true: keep your friends close but your enemies closer. Update: 1 month later, spent a few days in Melbourne, which did me the world of good and got my mind off things. Went to a salsa dancing night, and by golly I'll be following that lead, as there's never enough men and girls love to dance. Back home things are quiet. No noisy girlfriend. I can't be bothered with my mate anymore. Best to stay away. I'm keeping myself socially plugged in and getting out a bit more. Update: 2.5 months later, we got back together 22nd of March 2019 and doing better than we were last time. Boy, have we made some big changes to our relationship. We don't take each other for granted like we used to, and realize that each day, each hour could be our last. We've realized how easy it is to get angry and disagree. Each day brings changes and improvements. Yeah, my mate is at the end of a phone line, but we're not close anymore. I've started listening a whole lot more and really trying to see things her way. I'm not sure how long it will take to fully trust her again, but she's noticed how much I've changed. Update: 20th of March 2020. It's been a year. At times it's been difficult to trust her, and I have absolutely nothing to do with my ex-mate, who I find a totally objectionable creep. For a while he sent her the odd suggestive text message, which I confronted him about. The whole event provoked his distant, wealthy ex-girlfriend to rekindle their relationship, and apparently they're very happy and focused. He just couldn't see what a Judas he was, and I want nothing to do with him. But it takes two to tango, and it's taken a long time to mend what we had. I had many comments about throwing in the towel and getting the heck away, but it's unconditional love, I'm afraid. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, there are two components to every successful relationship. The first is love, and whatever is going on here, it is not that. At least not hers for you. It should be because you sound like a wonderful man, but I don't think she's capable of it, and that is not your fault. It troubles me greatly that you are attempting to take any kind of responsibility for what happened whatsoever. Are you perfect? No. Have you made mistakes? Yes, I am sure that you have, but there is no theory that exists under which you are to be blamed for her having sex with anyone else, let alone your friend. There is no problem in any relationship that can be made better by inviting a third person into it. The fact that she did is a reflection on her and her alone. Please don't take any responsibility whatsoever for it. You don't deserve what has occurred here. I want you to be clear about that. This is on her. 100%. The second component any successful relationship must have is respect. I'm sorry, but clearly she is very little for you, and how you could have any for her is unfathomable to me. How do you stand the sight of her? I won't even discuss your friend because clearly he isn't and never was. These two individuals are absolutely despicable human beings. You were wondering about and asked the question as to when they were going to tell you? Paul, they weren't. Some people just aren't plagued by a conscience, and you don't need them anywhere near you. Nothing would make me any happier than to know you decided to eliminate her from your life completely and totally. I hope you get there. In the meantime, best to sleep with one eye open. Take better care of yourself going forward, Paul. She's not going to. Redditor 2, Paul, I know it's hard, man, but the people are saying you need to rid of them both are right. I have a ton of friends who have gorgeous wives and girlfriends. I would never do anything like this to one of my friends. I would bet you wouldn't either. You know how it feels. They both betrayed you. People that do this don't love you. I'm sorry, they just do not. In my honest opinion, for what it's worth, once someone cheats, they just ended the relationship with the person they cheated on. Redditor 3, you are truly inspirational. I know because I have been through a heartbreak, and I know the bitterness that engulfs someone during that time. I read somewhere that one can die of a heartbreak, and I agree, but you look at things in a whole different perspective and rebuild what seemed to have fallen apart to unsalvageable levels. I hope and pray that your relationship works out well. You deserve to be happy. Redditor 4, very similar situation to me. I know the kind of guy you are as I see myself in your post. I don't know how far my ex-wife's cheating went, don't know for sure if it extended to SX, but she's actively chased after ex-lovers, and before she walked out on me and our daughter she was away for weekends at a time. The problem is, and I think this is where we are similar, I love her so much. Even after 18 years together I'm still just as in love with her as the day we married. She left October 21, 2019, so not even 2 months ago. She says she needs space and really wants us to get back together, which I would really like to do, but the betrayal and lack of trust is weighing heavily on my mind. I've never cheated emotionally or physically, I don't even check out other women, but recently I have been flirting a little and responding when women have flirted with me. It's giving me a little confidence, but at the same time I think it'll be a very long time before a flirt turns into something more. I live in a small country town, so any chance of meeting someone new is almost non-existent. She on the other job now lives in the city. She's absolutely gorgeous, gets offers every other day, so obviously it's over between us. Can I ask you? Do you trust your partner after what she did? Do you believe in the once a cheater always a cheater? Redditor 5, wait a minute, your last paragraph though, so basically she cheated, with your best friend of all people, and you're back with her and doing your best to stay in her good graces, trying to prove to her that you have changed? Basically you've turned yourself into a doormat for her to walk all over. Valp, good luck. Redditor 6, dear Paul, try to read about codependency. Maybe it will resonate with you. And congratulations to finding the truth. Real friend and real loving partner would not behave like this. It is time to face a truth and act accordingly. You deserve more. Story 2-2. I have a list, pages long, of the men that I've slept with, she said one early winter night, eyes leaking with defeat, shoulders wilting like the last remaining flower in the park. She wanted to give me closure. She wanted to send me off. I cheated on you, over and over again. No, you didn't. I told her earnestly, hoping this was just another charade. I could jobble lies. I'd become far more comfortable with them than truth. It was just a test, I thought. I wouldn't flinch. I knew her games. I didn't buy exaggeration. Not this time. Not now. I did, she said. 2 words lingering like the future we destroyed. My haughty ego bent before the sentence was complete. We spoke for some time. Tears like anvils weighing on my cheeks. The breath I had expected to inhale was more like sand. Like someone had massaged my lungs with jobs of broken glass. I could imagine what it was like for her. No easier. No simpler. The courage it must take to be as honest as she was. Finally. Honesty. How bittersweet the sound. It's at these moments that you ponder how the universe exists. The prodigious speed at which we spin like ants upon a rock. The infinite phenomena occurring side by side, and the instants that have led you to this specific point in time. Why me? You think. Of all the choices leading up to now. You're numb. In an experimentally abusive sort of way. Your pupils dilate. Your hairs rise. You're acutely aware. Each moment, an incision. Each word, a blade unsheathed. The scars don't hurt. Not yet. They take time. So you continue. You dig like curiosity. You watch the colors blend. The viscosity of sadness resting gently in your palm. And what about X? Name removed. Yes. She admitted. What did you do? The details followed. An anesthetic I was not prepared to ingest. And what about Y? Name removed. The details followed, like the buckshot of a rifle at close range. Silence. Numb. We walked along, casually. We joked about life. About the future. We stood beneath the streetlight and we admired what had passed. We looked into each other's eyes, we tried our best to breathe. The cold at least reminding us that we were still alive. You don't know the places that emptiness comes from until you feel it for 2 hearts. The guilt becomes an ocean that you haven't strength to cross. The tide becomes a piece of you. It rises and it falls. Regret becomes the sunset that reminds you when to cry. I couldn't take back what had happened. I couldn't excise my love. I did my best to respect a reality which had now scarred me. To accept the passing of a lover like the loss of human life. There was a reality in which we had survived. Somewhere. Someone. But it was not here. It was not now. I do not want this reality. Pinch me. Shake me. Wake me up. I could continue. I could flood this page with existential metaphors of love and letting go. I could attempt to articulate the cavernous despondency that kept me up at night. But such is life. The sum of an infinite stream of experience. The courage to endure the flood, the desire to persist. And so I did. And so I shall. Persist. Move forward. I am not this moment, nor that moment. I do not seek attention, nor pity. I am no victim. I am man. I am not less because of it. I am more. And so is she. We stumble to reveal that we've the courage still to rise. We've only better days if we acknowledge they exist, and that, they do. And so I smile. I treat people with respect. I'm aware of loss that lingers behind every pair of eyes. The invisible incisions that nobody talks about. I want more from life now, finally. To be a better man. To help provide lucidity to someone lost at sea. It's only a beginning, always. The young must know it. The old must know it. I wish no one else a sadness like the one that I've described. And should you find yourself anesthetized with buckshot through your chest, I promise it gets better. I promise it will heal. To those asking. This is a true story. And that rather bland picture up there is the park where the conversation took place. I wish it were fiction. I've not a strange enough imagination to make this one up. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, beautifully written. It is poetic even. But you write as though you bear your ex no ill will. Not then, not now. You of all people, a person, I would say, a throat feeler. It is written as you experienced that first job. But you describe only the pain. How about your anger? I have read many of your posts. They somehow show you are in control of your emotions even when you are going through heck. How is that even possible, I wonder? Redditor 2, thanks Chanthy, I truly bear her no ill will. Not then, not now. I wish her the absolute best in life and relationships. I don't feel anger for situations I cannot change. I feel sadness, but not anger. Take, for example, a traffic jam on the highway. I'm certainly not honking my horn or huffing and puffing behind the wheel. That emotion is entirely wasted. The same goes for this situation. There is no anger. I don't practice stoicism. I'm not fond of that, at least not for many situations. I practice what would always make me happiest tomorrow. I have been angry. At one point or another I have experienced that for similar situations. I woke up and I felt miserable. It never made sense to get angry again for circumstances like that. I get angry for situations I can change. Or for situations which warrant an expression of my anger in order to influence a certain end result. If someone is bullying a friend, for example, and the situation calls for it, I'll certainly show how angry I can be. But for her, in this situation, she's human. She messed up. She lives with that, and hopefully she changes. That's sad. We're all capable of that. Of messing up. Anger doesn't solve anything. I wish everyone well. Redditor 3, okay, I stumbled upon your writing because of a similar answer. Now I've read several things that you've written and I just have to say, damn, man, you can write. Me, I'm a long-winded jobhard whose best fiction reads like tolerable fan fiction. You? You're a writer, dude. Following because I look forward to more of your writing and more of your wisdom. I also look forward to reading that you've met the love of your life, then reading about your family, eventually reading how bittersweet it was to send your eldest off to college, etc. Keeping living and growing Augie. Redditor 4, Augie, thank you for sharing and you have some amazing gifts. Your heart is more full of grace than many Christians I have met including me. Your way with words is more wonderful than any book that I have ever read, not that I've read all that widely, but I know great writing when I read it. I hope never to experience what you have, and if I do, I hope to have at least half the grace that you have expressed. Redditor 5, sorry, but this answer left me confused. Did she slept with a list long men while already dating married you? Or was it before you two got together? It's not clear in your text. People seems to love the way you write, but there's too much text for too little information, sorry. Redditor 6, you know what, I just realized that this part of my answer might not make sense and why the first sentence is supremely important. I actually began this answer in the middle of an explanation and never completed it. She revealed to me that she cheated on me multiple times, then also told me how promiscuous she was in a general sense, which blew away every expectation I ever had of her. And as such continued a relentless spiral towards the culmination of an extremely unfortunate conversation. I've had a few answers stemming from the specifically chaotic circumstances that abound from this relationship. Sorry to confuse you. Thank you for watching. Comment what do you think about this situation. Don't forget to like and subscribe.